Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
This has got to be one of my favourite childhood movies. And this is just a boring old cupboard before I attempt the coolest cupboard makeover ever. So in my last video, I made a cyberpunk city. Now this was the first time I've ever made any sort of model or diorama, and it went pretty well. What I didn't realise though was how much stuff I was going to be left with. I've got modelling materials for days, I've got it in bags for life, boxes, piles, just all over the place. So in today's video, I want to create a space that's super functional, somewhere that I can store all of my modelling materials so that it's easy to get to. But I also want it to look really cool. So I picked up this cupboard off of Marketplace and it was $10. And what I want to do with it is turn it into a Beetlejuice inspired storage cupboard, but not in the way you'd expect. I want it to be completely over the top. It's going to be perfect. Cool. It is not though. So we have got our work cut out for us. So before we can get to the fun stuff, we're going to have to strip this right back to bare wood and get it ready for its epic makeover. So that stuff smells really strong, so I'm going to put this on. So I'm just going to use this Prepare and Prime by Porters. I'll get this on and I'll get back to you. Well, that took way longer than expected, but it's the next day and we're ready to get some colour on. I am so excited for this. Oh my God. Look at that colour. So the plan is I'm going to paint the whole of the inside of the cupboard this bright shocking pink. The shelves are going to be black. I want the drawers to be black and white. Then it was time for shelves and drawers. For the drawers, I started with a few coats of white. Then I painted black on the sides and front. I evenly masked the base and then painted the stripes. And when I removed the tape, the drawers look sick. So I'm really pleased with how it's looking so far. I think it looks wicked. I absolutely love the stripes and the colours are... Beetlejuice was one of my favourite movies as a kid. And recently I saw the trailer for Beetlejuice 2, 36 years after the original. So in the movie, there's this part where you see the famous sandworm, and that's what we're going to be adding to our cupboard. So what I want to do is make the sandworm look like it's coming out of the cupboard, as if the cupboard is the sand. I'm going to attempt to make his body out of XPS foam, and I'm going to try and make his heads out of Sculpey clay. So that's the basic idea. Now we've just got to do it. So I'm thinking we cut a bunch of circles out of this XPS insulation foam, and then we stick them all together to make our shape, and then we'll sculpt it properly after. You got me saying like, I love it when you do it like that when you walk out. Okay, so we've cut a bunch of circles, and what I've also done is cut a few of them in half at an angle. At this point, it would definitely be easier if I had a hot wire, but I don't. So we've done it with a knife. It's good enough. We're going to be sculpting it after. And now we get to carve. And here I'm just using some foil to make a basic shape for the head. Got a feeling that we might need to get more clay. I'm back with a big box. I think we're going to need it. Oh, excellent. It comes in little things. That's actually pretty handy. I thought it was going to be a ginormous lump. I haven't worked with this one. This is the original Sculpey. I want to get some sheets on first, and then we can just build it up as we go. I think we're going to need to kind of squish it together. And this is going to make it quite heavy, I'm presuming. Never done this before, so I don't know. Probably going to use way more clay than I need to. I kind of feel like I need to do the first base layer, and then I'm going to need to bake it. Right, so what we're going to do with this first coating is just get the basic shape. So now the basic head is done and ready to bake, I started on smoothing the body with a fine sandpaper. Now this worked really well, so I topped it off with a layer of filler. I baked this bit so we've got a hard skeleton head, and then our top mouth is going to be kind of like that. Then we've got to be able to attach this onto here. So I baked up a tongue, and I also baked some teeth, and I baked some eyeballs. These are the most important because we need to have these in the space so that we can build up around it. I'm actually really excited. Once we've painted it and everything, I'll put some resin dripping off these, I think, so that they look slimy and scary. So I added most of the texture to the lips and skin just using a wire brush and ball tool. But then I added some extra skin texture using an 80 grit sandpaper. So I need to bake this now that it's got the second coat on, but it's actually pretty heavy. So what we need to do is build the outside mouth. This bit lasted around 84 years. I basically made a cradle for the head out of chicken wire and foil. I think we need to bake this first because what I don't want is for it to fall out, and because I think I'm going to wrap these in clay and then we can attach it, and then we can wrap clay around the bottom. Okay, I took these home last night and cooked them. I left some foil out because what I want to do is attach these to this base and make it so that this is all one piece and be able to attach it to this part. This is going to be the really tricky part of the whole situation. It's going to be really difficult to paint in the mouth. I'm not sure that putting the teeth in was such a good idea. Gosh, how am I going to do this? This is so heavy. I don't know how this is going to work. Oh, sheesh. So I just nipped to the art shop to get some foam clay. But when I got there, I was like, oh, what about using Mod Rock, which is like a plaster cloth, like they use for broken bones and casts and stuff. And I thought, if we dry this in the oven, if we attach this to the top, if we Mod Rock...
It was at this moment that she knew. She fucked up.
Oh, that was a bloody call. I'm going to put the teeth in here. If we dry this in the oven, then it will be ready for the Mod Rock. Then we can put that on there, and I think the Mod Rock will be strong enough to hold it in place, and we can build up to where the eye goes on the top, and I think that will be pretty good. So we managed to just fit this into the oven, but only just. So we're going to try using this plaster cloth wrap. We've just got to dip it in the warm water, and then we can wrap it round, and hopefully that will do the trick and hold it on. Let's give it a go. Winging it as usual. I know that the plaster cloth only takes 15 minutes to dry, so we might just have to like hold it in place and then, you know, go from there. Right, these are all pretty much ready. I think by tomorrow morning it should be good. So I also want to get the head prepped and done so that that can also dry by the morning. My biggest problem that I'm facing so far with this is the head hasn't even got the heavy part in it, and it's really freaking heavy. I'm not sure how well that will stay on there just glued on. So I've had an idea. What I think would be a good idea to do is Mod Rock this onto this base. I think we'll have to screw this into the top of the cupboard. So I get some Mod Rock onto the base, and then I need to attach the inside head. I'm a bit nervous. I mean, that looks like a pretty good location. Once it's dry, it'll be fine. It's just this part. I'm stuffing this in this gap as well, guys, just to hopefully make it nice and solid. Fuck. It is gonna work. It was already feeling strong before we took the foil out of the way. I think we're about done. Yes. That was very, very messy, very, very fun. I cannot wait to paint this. It's gonna be wicked. Okay, we are back. I have left this drying for the whole weekend because it was just still too damp. And at last, it's time to paint this bad boy. We've got the base coat on. I just want to do the same with the body parts. I also need to make the red eyes. Okay, the base and the tail is done. Guys, this looks so good. I love it. So now this is done, let's get this onto here. So we're almost coming to the end of this project. I just want to get some vinyls cut and then we'll be ready for the final shots. I think I prefer the outside without this on. That would look pretty cool. I don't even know how I got it so wrong. So I'm going to quickly nip over the bits that I missed and then we're ready for the final shots.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
So that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it and like the final result. Let me know in the comments what you think and I'll see you in the next one. I'm obsessed with this fog machine, so if you start seeing me just in this mysterious haze from now on, you know why.